Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, June 25th edition of our video devotionals, and we appreciate you being with us today. Hope your Wednesday's going well. It is the middle part of the work week. It is church time for many of us in the evenings, and a lot of people have a scheduled Wednesday evening service. And speaking of that, we've been in revival up in Ararat, North Carolina, just outside of Mount Airy, where my childhood pastors at Little Mountain Baptist Church. He's been there, I think he said it's been 48 years, and 47 or 48 years, and the church will soon have its, I think it's its 100th anniversary, and then will be pastor when that happens in 3 years. He'll be the pastor of it for half of that. And of course, he was saved in that church, has been affiliated with that church for many, many years. But that being said, it's revival time, and I appreciate you praying for the revival and pray for the last service tonight, okay? We're going to be in Proverbs 28:5 because it's also Wisdom Wednesday, right? So it's Wisdom Wednesday. We're going to look at the one verse here, Proverbs 28:5. And again, as always, we thank you for watching the videos, the comments, acknowledgments, and all of that. All right, notice Proverbs 28:5. It says this: evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. All right, so you have, as we see commonly in the book of Proverbs, the difference between the evil, the unrighteous, and the righteous, the people that love God. In this case, it's about understanding. That's what it says. The evil men understand not judgment. Judgment is, I guess sometimes people think it's just, they think only about a punishment, like a sentence that goes forth. If you do wrong, then here's the judgment. Here's what needs to be done. But I think in the case of judgment, it's also about just decision making. It's about seeing the world, the right and the wrong. It's about seeing, literally, because God determines right and wrong, it's seeing, why this is wrong and why this is right, and that's based on God. So when it says evil men understand not judgment, that's because they don't do what the people that in this verse that they do. It says, but they that seek the Lord, that's the righteous people. That's God's people. That's people that are right. Why? Because they seek the Lord and they understand all things. So they have this view of the world that's proper and right. And when they see the wrongs that are in the world, and that there's a judgment, a decision, a sentence that needs to go forth, they understand that because they understand that God has determined things that are right and things that are wrong. People look and say, for example, the policies of our government when it comes to illegal activity that would come into our country, and people that come into it illegally. Now, some people, I don't understand why we got to do anything about it. Well, I think righteous people, now look, I know we're supposed to be kind and helpful to all people. I get that. But there's such a thing as the rule of law. God has his laws. There's things that there's consequences to wrong. And to look at a world and say, well, like there's just no wrong in the world, period. So that's because people are not looking at it through God's eyes. God sees wrong. Hey, God sees sin and did something about it when he sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for the sins. He could have said, well, you know what? Let's just say there's no right. There's no wrong. Let's just, everybody, whatever you think is right, and that's okay. Well, God doesn't do that. God saw sin, God saw transgression, and something had to be done about it. And in life, there's things that are wrong, and everything from in the home, parents raise their children. There's wrong activities, there's right activities, there's punishment and discipline that needs to be done. Why? Because even evil people, they don't understand the purpose of judgment. They don't understand that if you don't keep a check on wrong, then it becomes rampant. It becomes, we have chaos, and that's hurtful to all people. But righteous people see that. That's why, a righteous family, a mom and dad, they correct their children. Why? Because they want their children to be right. They don't want them to suffer bad consequences in life because they don't understand right and they don't understand wrong. So that's why evil people, they don't understand judgment. But you know what? They that seek the Lord, they understand all things. Just a general idea of everything, the way it works in a sense, and particularly when it comes to right and when it comes to wrong. And they see that and they understand why, because God gives us that understanding. So we're going to stop right there. I hope you have a great day, safe day, healthy day. Of course, stay hydrated, stay cool as best you can in this very, very hot weather. And Lord willing, we'll see you back tomorrow. And thank you for watching.